met 8 years ago working at Ruby Tuesdays in Gravy Heights. I remember him being a very unapproachable young man. He must have been in his early 20s at the time, and I remember thinking that he could use a hug or two or three, because he was not a very friendly human being when I first met him.
She seemed, I mean, obviously, look at her, she's gorgeous. Look at her, look at me, she's not gonna wanna talk to me. So I kind of stayed distant for a while. Like, I would jump into a conversation she was already having, but I would never like instigate a conversation with her.
Up until 2015, we really started hanging out, and by then I had 2 children, Edison and Elena.
I always looked forward to that text. Like, I didn't expect it because it was very rare that we would run into each other, but I was always hoping for it. Like, I was always hoping to get that text because, again, she's just so energetic. She's like, she brings it out in me that if I'm not up for hanging out or going out or being around people, like, she brings that out in me, and I felt that back then. I couldn't put it into words at the time, but I felt it back then. Like, I want to be a part of that. Like, I want to be around that.
Adam, being the very patient young man that he is, hung around and stayed around for probably about, I want to say 8 to 9 months before I was finally ready to make our relationship more than just a friendship. My trust in Adam began probably once we started making things official. I have always had a big trust issue. I've never really trusted.
You know, at the time, just Edison and Elena obviously wasn't in the picture, but they're obviously her life. And so I knew that that wall was up because she needed to see how I was with them. Because if I didn't love them to death, then it wasn't going to happen between her and I.
When people would say, oh, I love you, or I love you, in any kind of a relationship, you know, those words have always been really hard for me to accept. I never really felt that lovable, and I didn't believe people when they would tell me that, which took a very hard time, was a very hard time for me to accept at the time, even with Adam, like starting a relationship with him. I was just like, who was gonna love me with 2 children? Who's going to want to take on that responsibility? And anyhow, Adam, I think it's a God thing, because I think he knew exactly what I needed, and in order for me to feel loved, I felt like I needed someone to love my children. And if somebody could love my children the way that I love them, then they must really love me. With that, I think that once I saw how much he loved Edison and Elena, and how much time he invested in them, and how he would write Edison notes every morning before he went to school. When he was in preschool, he'd put them in his lunchbox. He would hide little heart notes around the house for the kids to run and find, with just little reasons why he loved them. He would just go on trips and buy them stuff. Like, before we were even official, like, he was showing me that he was dedicated to me and the children. And I think that once I started seeing that, and I started seeing that he was not only in love with me, but that he loved my children, I think that that built the biggest trust that I could have ever thought, like, that I would get from anyone.
I knew that, but in the back of my mind, I'm also trying to make sure I don't force that myself, because then it's going to be painfully obvious, like, well, he's just sucking up to the kids to try to get to me. And so I made sure to take it slow and really, like, am I enjoying my time with the kids, or am I just pretending to get in good with her? Obviously, Edison and Elena are the best kids on the planet, so it's pretty easy to get along with them. So you know, that was, I started noticing her trusting me. You know, it was, you know, we'd ride in the car together and the kids would get to come, or when she started letting me pick them up from Mama and Papa's house, or bringing them up to work to see her, or, you know, Edison going with me, just me and him on like a guy's day, or like me getting to be involved in stuff like taking Edison fishing for the first time. Like, I saw that wall coming down and me being allowed in.
I don't know that we have too many disagreements.
Fight? Never.
We have each other's backs, usually. We have had, I think the hardest time we've gone through has probably been having Loxley.
She's actually taught me, without meaning to, how to, it's okay if voice is raised a little bit, it's okay if we disagree, it's not the end of the world, maybe there needs to be a cool-off period, but it's not the end of the world, and that makes us stronger throughout. It helps us see each other's point of view better.
I think that we were so content and we were so comfortable with 2 children, and we had a routine and everything, and I think once we had Loxley, we really had to learn to balance everything. It was like throwing in a 3rd kid is like, I know people say like, oh, once you have 2, you know, what's different about a 3rd? It's completely different. So I think the 3rd child being thrown in the mix, Loxley, I think that was, I think that has been our hardest challenge as a couple. He waited a whole year for me to be comfortable enough to say, this is what I want.
Going fishing with Edison, and just the pictures, looking back at the pictures, I still look at them and I'm dumbfounded by like how much it meant to me. And I know it meant a lot to Edison, and I can tell by the number of pictures how much it meant to Laura. Like, she loved seeing that. She loved starting to realize the idea that, hey, I might be that person to Edison.
This is like, I know for sure that this is what it is, that this is gonna lead us down a road where we're gonna spend the rest of our lives together, and we're gonna raise children. And, you know, I think that it probably took about a year for me to realize that, hey, he's sticking around. He's not going anywhere. He's committed. He's serious. Like, this is what he wants. And he, every single day, reassures me of that. Like, it's not, oh, I put a ring on her finger and now, you know, she's mine, so I can stop trying and I don't have to reassure her anymore. It's a every single day thing.
I realized, like, I love this woman. And that's the serious side of it. But then there's those moments where you just kind of giggle and you kind of go, I love you.
Every single day there is reassurance there for me, and that's how I know, like, this is gonna last. We love each other. This is our family. This is not just my family. Edison and Elena are not just my children. They are our children, and he treats them all the same. He loves them all the same. And so I think a lot of it has to do with the children. Like, I think that, you know, you don't find too many men out there that want to be good father figures for their children. And I have Adam, who is not only being a good father figure to Loxley, but to Edison and to Elena, which Elena has a wonderful dad, and Adam gets to be there. I think that is so important. But I think that Adam has never, for one day, Adam has never let a day go by where he has not reassured me that this is it, this is all he's ever wanted, and this is gonna last.
Laura, I don't think that either of us imagined that we'd finally get to where we are today. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Adam, we have been together for a little over 2 years now. And when we started this journey together, I would have never imagined that we would be walking down the aisle and getting married.
You've taught me so much about really what love means.
This is just the beginning of it. I know every year is going to be filled with memories and love and laughter like I have never imagined.
You all are absolutely the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I always tell you how much I love you and how beautiful you are, how smart you are, how perfect you are. And you're perfect for me.
I think that you are the most amazing dad. You are so caring and you are giving. Any free time you have, it is invested in me, our relationship, the children. You are just the most selfless person.
I can't imagine a better fit for me than you. You've taught me things about myself that I didn't know. You've taught me how to raise 3 kids. I didn't know any of that. I'm following your lead still to this day.
And I think that the next 50, 60 years, they will fly by, and I don't want to miss a moment of it without you with me.
I can't imagine, I don't know of anyone who has done more for me than you. It's from loving me and supporting me to even restoring my faith in God and a higher power that's so important to me, and you inadvertently were the one that showed me that.
And I love you very much, and I can't wait for our forever to start.
I could go on all day, every day, and I will, telling you the different ways that I love you, and I just thank you. You're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.